Defeated but not broken, humanity strikes back. No one expected the end of Earth's divisions to come from the stars. The year was 2157, and humanity had just established its first colonies on Mars and Venus. The various space programs, American, European, Chinese, Russian, still operated independently, each claiming their own pieces of the solar system. That fragmentation would soon prove to be humanity's greatest weakness. The massive ship appeared without warning beyond Luna's orbit. Commander Jason Rodriguez of the North American Space Defense Station was the first to spot it. "Contact," he shouted, alerting his crew. "Unknown vessel, approximately 3 kilometers in length." His second-in-command, Lieutenant Diana Wells, quickly confirmed multiple energy signatures unlike anything in their database. Before Earth's divided military forces could coordinate a response, the alien vessel broadcast its message across all frequencies in perfect English. "We are the Drachnid Collective," the transmission began. "Your species has been chosen for integration. Resistance will result in extinction." Within hours, similar ships appeared over every major city on Earth. The Drachnids didn't wait for a response. Their first strike destroyed the International Space Station and every major satellite network, effectively blinding Earth's defenses. The second wave targeted military installations worldwide. Global Defense Commander William Chen watched from the underground NORAD bunker as humanity's scattered forces tried to fight back. Chinese pulse lasers, American railguns, European plasma weapons, nothing seemed to penetrate the Drachnid ship's shields. "We need to coordinate our responses," he argued during an emergency UN broadcast. "Fighting separately, we don't stand a chance." The Drachnid's third wave brought the truth of his words home. Moscow fell first, then Beijing, followed by Washington, D.C. Within 48 hours, every major government on Earth had been decapitated. The remaining military leaders and civilian authorities retreated to hardened bunkers worldwide. In the chaos, something unprecedented happened. Colonel Yuki Tanaka of the Japanese Self-Defense Force found herself sharing a secret bunker with Major Viktor Petrov of the Russian Space Command and Captain Michelle Barnes of the British Royal Navy. Similar scenarios played out in hidden facilities across the globe, as surviving military personnel ignored old rivalries in the face of extinction. Dr. Aisha Rahman, head of the International Quantum Research Institute, had predicted this moment. "Our greatest weakness was our division," she told the assembled military leaders in the Alps facility, the largest surviving human bunker. "But it could become our greatest strength." She unveiled plans for a unified defense system, one that would require the combined resources and knowledge of every surviving nation. The Drachnids believed they had broken humanity's ability to resist. They established processing centers in the ruins of major cities, beginning their integration, a process that turned humans into cybernetically controlled slaves. But beneath the surface, in hundreds of hidden bunkers and secret facilities, humanity was changing. The first meeting of what would become the Terran Defense Council took place 3 weeks after the initial invasion. Representatives from every surviving military force and government gathered in the deepest level of the Alps facility. Former enemies sat side by side, united by a common threat and a shared determination to survive. "We can't think like separate nations anymore," Commander Chen argued, standing before the assembled leaders. "We need to become something more, something unified and stronger than we've ever been." The vote was unanimous. The first truly unified human government was born in that moment, though none yet dared call it an empire. Dr. Rahman's team, now including scientists from 20 different nations, made the first breakthrough. They discovered that the Drachnid ships used a form of quantum-linked communication that could be disrupted. Captain Marcus Wong of the Chinese Space Force realized this could be combined with his nation's experimental phase shift technology. Meanwhile, in a hidden facility beneath the Australian outback, Dr. James Cook, no relation to the explorer, had been working on theoretical faster-than-light travel before the invasion. With the combined resources of humanity's remaining scientists, his theories began moving toward reality. "We can't just defend Earth," he explained to the Council. "We need to take the fight to them." The Drachnids never expected resistance to increase as time passed. They were used to species either submitting quickly or being destroyed utterly. Humanity did neither. Small strikes began against Drachnid patrols, hit-and-run attacks using weapons that combined technologies from multiple nations. Russian stealth systems merged with Japanese energy weapons. American AI targeting computers linked with Indian quantum processors. Each small victory taught humanity more about their enemy. Each defeated patrol provided new technology to study and reverse engineer. The surviving population, housed in vast underground cities, turned every resource toward supporting the war effort. Children born after the invasion grew up hearing stories not of individual nations, but of humanity's united struggle for survival. 6 months after the invasion, the Council made another historic decision. We're no longer fighting just to survive, Commander Chen addressed the assembled leaders. We're fighting to ensure humanity never faces this kind of threat again. When we win, and we will win, we need to be ready to take our place among the stars. The motion passed. Upon victory, the unified human government would not dissolve back into separate nations. Instead, it would become a permanent alliance aimed at expanding human influence beyond Earth. Though none spoke the word empire aloud, the foundation was laid. The Terran Defense Force was officially established, combining all remaining military assets under a single command structure. In their arrogance, the Drachnids had united humanity in a way no internal force ever could. They thought they were creating slaves. Instead, they were forging an empire. The first human counterattack was already being planned, using weapons and tactics no single nation could have developed alone. The birth of the Terran Empire would be written in the stars and in Drachnid blood. The underground city of New Haven, carved beneath the Rocky Mountains, hummed with activity. Once separate research teams now work side by side in vast laboratories. On the main screen of the Central Command Center, a holographic map showed Drachnid patrol patterns across North America. Director Emma Blackwood, former NASA administrator and now head of the newly formed Terran Science Division, studied the data with intense focus. Their patrols are becoming predictable, she noted to General Marcus Rivera, who commanded the Western Defense Sector. They're getting comfortable, overconfident. The general nodded, his weathered face reflecting the harsh LED lighting. 6 months of guerrilla warfare had taught them much about their enemy. In the adjacent weapons laboratory, Dr. Nikolai Volkov worked alongside Dr. Zara Hassan, combining Russian plasma technology with Egyptian quantum theory. Their latest prototype weapon could potentially disrupt the Drachnids' neural networks. The key was in their own technology, Zara explained during the daily briefing. Every cybernetic slave they create gives us more insight into their systems. The Terran Defense Council had evolved beyond its military origins. Now it included the brightest minds from every field: scientists, engineers, strategists, and even philosophers. They weren't just planning for survival anymore, they were building the foundation of humanity's future among the stars. The first major test of the unified command came when Drachnid forces discovered one of the smaller bunkers in former South Korea. Colonel Jinho Park commanded the defense forces there, coordinating seamlessly with Indian cyber warfare experts and Brazilian strike teams. The battle lasted 3 days. Status report, demanded General Rivera, watching the conflict unfold from New Haven. The response came from Captain Amara Okafor, leading the Nigerian Special Forces team that had been stationed in Asia. The Drachnids broke through the outer defenses, but they took heavy losses. Our new weapons work. Colonel Park is implementing Protocol Omega. Protocol Omega, the scorched earth policy. No human facility could be allowed to fall intact into Drachnid hands. As the bunker's reactor went critical, the survivors escaped through newly constructed underground tunnels, taking with them vital research data and another piece of captured Drachnid technology. In the aftermath, the Council made a crucial decision. We need to centralize our command structure, argued Admiral Chen, addressing the assembled leaders. Multiple independent resistance cells are no longer enough. We need to think and act as one force, one empire. The word empire no longer carried its old historical stigma. Humanity had seen what real oppression looked like in the Drachnid collective. The emerging Terran government would be different, unified, but not uniform, strong, but not tyrannical. Dr. Raman's quantum communications network, built from modified Drachnid tech, allowed instant coordination between all human facilities. The old internet had been destroyed in the initial invasion, but its replacement was something far more advanced. We're not just rebuilding our civilization, she explained to a group of new recruits. We're evolving it. The first major victory came when a Drachnid processing center in former Buenos Aires was destroyed. The strike team, led by Commander Isabella Santos, combined Mexican stealth specialists, Canadian combat engineers, and Argentine resistance fighters. They moved as one unit, their different backgrounds forgotten in the heat of battle. The processing center is down, Isabella reported back to New Haven, and we found something else. Her team had discovered records showing the location of other Drachnid facilities across the galaxy. The aliens weren't just an invasion force, They were an advanced civilization with hundreds of conquered worlds under their control. This discovery changed everything. The council gathered for an emergency session and Director Blackwood presented their options. "We're not just fighting for Earth anymore," she declared. "There are other enslaved species out there. If we can defeat the Drachnids here, we could free them all." The implications were staggering. Humanity wouldn't just be building a defensive force, they would need a fleet capable of interstellar warfare. Dr. Cook's faster-than-light research suddenly took on new urgency. The combined resources of every surviving nation were poured into the project. In the training facilities beneath Mount Kilimanjaro, the first class of unified Terran officers prepared for graduation. They came from every corner of Earth, but they wore the same uniform black and silver with the newly designed Terran insignia, a stylized Earth surrounded by stars. "You are the future of humanity," General Rivera addressed them. "Not American, not Chinese, not Russian, but Terran, the first generation of what we will become." The young officers stood proud, their diverse backgrounds now a strength rather than a division. The Drachnids remained unaware of how much their human slaves had evolved. Their patrols still searched for separate resistance groups, never realizing they faced a unified force growing stronger each day. In hidden shipyards beneath the Pacific Ocean, the first true Terran warships were under construction, incorporating technologies from dozens of nations and improved versions of captured Drachnid systems. Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of the nearly completed TDS Prometheus, humanity's first star destroyer. "When this ship launches," he told the assembled council members, "it won't just be a weapon. It will be a statement humanity is ready to take its place among the stars." The council session that followed marked another milestone. The provisional government officially adopted its new name, the Terran Empire. It was a declaration of intent. They would not only defeat the Drachnids, but ensure humanity would never again be vulnerable to alien aggression. As the first phase of unified resistance drew to a close, the newly christened empire prepared for its next step. The time for hiding was nearly over. Soon, the Drachnids would learn exactly what they had created through their invasion. Humanity was no longer divided and weak. They were becoming something far more powerful than their enemies could imagine. The massive underground facility known as Project Dawn stretched for miles beneath the Sahara Desert. Here, in what was becoming the heart of the Terran Empire's research division, Dr. James Cook stood before a gleaming prototype that would change humanity's future forever. "The quantum fold drive is ready for testing," he announced to the assembled team of scientists and military observers. The device, combining theoretical physics from 12 different nations with reverse-engineered Drachnid technology, promised to do the impossible, allow faster-than-light travel without the limitations of the aliens' current systems. Admiral Chen watched from the observation deck as energy coursed through the prototype. "How does it compare to Drachnid FTL?" he asked Dr. Yui Tanaka, the project's secondary lead. She smiled, her eyes reflecting the blue glow of the quantum field. "Their ships tear through space. Ours will dance between the stars." The first test exceeded all expectations. The small probe equipped with the drive disappeared from the testing chamber and reappeared precisely at its targeted location near Jupiter, a journey of millions of miles in mere seconds. The observation room erupted in cheers, but Dr. Cook remained focused. "This is just the beginning," he said. "Now we can start mass production." Meanwhile, in the weapons development sector of New Haven, Commander Viktor Petrov supervised the final testing of the Empire's newest combat system. "The neural interface network is online," reported Lieutenant Maria Rodriguez, her mind directly connected to the prototype fighter craft through a refined version of the same technology the Drachnids used to control their slaves. But where the Drachnids forced submission, the Terran version enhanced natural human abilities. Pilots could react at superhuman speeds, their thoughts becoming instant actions. The fighter's AI worked in perfect harmony with human intuition, creating a synergy that even the Drachnids hadn't achieved. Director Blackwood presented the combined advances to the Empire's High Council. "In 18 months, we've compressed what should have been centuries of technological development," she explained. "The Drachnids gave us the keys to their own destruction, we just had to learn how to use them." The council chamber, carved from solid rock and lined with quantum computers, had become the heart of humanity's new government. Representatives from every former nation sat together, planning not just Earth's liberation but humanity's expansion to the stars. "Phase 1 of Project Phoenix is complete," announced General Rivera, referring to the massive military buildup hidden beneath Earth's surface. The first fleet is ready for launch. On the chamber's main screen, images showed rows of sleek warships, each incorporating the new technologies developed under extreme pressure. Dr. Raman's team had made another crucial breakthrough. We've cracked their entire communication network, she revealed. Every transmission, every command signal, we can intercept and understand it all. The implications were staggering. For months, they had been gathering intelligence about the entire Drachnid Empire. The aliens' arrogance had been their weakness. They never bothered to change their codes or enhance their security, believing humans too primitive to comprehend their advanced systems. They didn't realize that humanity's greatest strength was its ability to adapt and innovate. In a secure facility beneath Antarctica, Commander Santos supervised the training of the Empire's first Space Marine Corps. Soldiers moved in powered armor that made them stronger than Drachnid warriors, their weapons capable of penetrating alien shields. We're not just matching their technology, she told her troops. We're surpassing it. The breakthrough that truly marked humanity's great leap forward came from an unexpected source. Dr. Zahra Hassan, working with quantum physics theories that predated the invasion, discovered something revolutionary in the Drachnid technology. Their entire empire relies on quantum entanglement, she explained to the council. But they only understand part of its potential. Her team had developed what they called the quantum disruption field, a weapon that could sever the Drachnids' neural links to their slaves and destroy their communication networks. Initial tests showed it could liberate entire facilities without destroying them. Admiral Chen immediately saw the strategic value. We can free their slaves and turn their own forces against them, he noted. This isn't just a weapon, it's liberation technology. The Terran Empire's first major shipyard, hidden in a hollowed-out asteroid in the belt between Mars and Jupiter, began producing vessels equipped with all these new systems. The flagship TDS Prometheus was joined by an entire fleet of star destroyers, each more advanced than anything the Drachnids possessed. Dr. Cook stood on the Prometheus's bridge, watching as his quantum fold drive was installed in the massive vessel. We've compressed generations of development into months, he told Admiral Chen. But the real test will come when we face them in open battle. The Empire had done more than just survive, it had evolved. Human ingenuity, combined with desperate necessity and unity of purpose, had created technologies that would reshape the galaxy. The Drachnids had intended to enslave a primitive species. Instead, they had catalyzed the birth of something far more powerful. In the council chamber, the final preparations were being made. Strategic targets had been identified throughout Drachnid space. The fleet was ready, the weapons were tested, the soldiers were trained. Humanity had taken its great leap forward and there would be no going back. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore, Admiral Chen addressed the assembled leaders. We're fighting for every species they've enslaved, every world they've conquered. The Terran Empire will not just defeat the Drachnids, will reshape the galaxy itself. As the council session ended, the members stood together, looking at the massive holographic display showing their first targets. The time for hiding was over. Humanity had completed its transformation. The Drachnids were about to learn that their greatest mistake wasn't attacking Earth, it was giving humans the tools and motivation to surpass them. Operation Thunderstrike began in darkness. The TDS Prometheus, flanked by 12 star destroyers, emerged from quantum fold space directly above the Drachnid's largest processing center on Mars. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge, his expression stern as he gave the order that would announce humanity's return from the shadows. All ships commence attack pattern Alpha, he commanded. Let's show them what the Terran Empire can do. The Drachnids had grown complacent during their occupation. Their orbital defenses around Mars were minimal, their ground forces reduced to skeleton crews. They had no reason to expect an attack, especially not from ships that shouldn't exist, using technology they thought impossible for humans to develop. Commander Rei Tanaka led the first wave of fighters from the Prometheus's launch bays. Her neural interface network connected her directly to her squadron, 12 pilots moving with perfect coordination. Ghost Squadron, engage primary targets, she ordered, her thoughts translating instantly to action. The Drachnid ships never stood a chance. Human fighters, enhanced by technology that surpassed their creators, tore through their formations. Dr. Hassan's quantum disruption field proved devastatingly effective, severing the neural links that connected Drachnid crews to their vessels. On the ground, Commander Santos led the first wave of Space Marines. Their powered armor gleamed in the red Martian sunlight as they breached the processing center's defenses. "Remember the training," she transmitted to her troops. "Liberate, don't destroy. Every slave we free is a potential ally." Inside the facility, the true power of human innovation became clear. The quantum disruption field didn't just break the Drachnids' control, it awakened their slaves. Thousands of cybernetically enhanced beings from dozens of species suddenly found themselves free for the first time in generations. "This is Commander Isabella Santos of the Terran Empire," she broadcast in multiple languages, the translation software adapting instantly. "We're here to free you. The time of Drachnid dominion is over." Admiral Chen watched from the Prometheus as similar scenes played out across Mars. The planet that had been humanity's first colony, then their first major loss, was becoming their first great victory. But this was only the beginning. "Second wave, prepare for launch," he ordered. Across the solar system, hidden shipyards activated. Hundreds of vessels, built in secret over the past 2 years, emerged from their concealment. The Terran Empire's full fleet revealed itself for the first time. The Drachnid response was predictable. They launched everything they had at Mars. Their massive ships emerged from quantum space, weapons charged, but they were fighting a different humanity than the one they had so easily conquered before. "Quantum fold signatures detected," reported Lieutenant Rodriguez from her tactical station. 30 Drachnid capital ships incoming." Admiral Chen allowed himself a small smile. "Spring the trap." The Drachnid fleet emerged directly into the kill zone. Dr. Cook's improved drive systems allowed Terran ships to perform microjumps, moving instantly across the battlefield. Human vessels seemed to dance between their enemies' shots, while their own weapons found their marks with devastating precision. "Their neural network is collapsing," Dr. Rahman reported from her station in New Haven. "They can't coordinate their attacks." The Drachnids had relied too heavily on their technological advantages, never developing the individual initiative that humans had preserved. The battle for Mars lasted less than 6 hours. When it ended, the Red Planet was firmly under Terran control. But more importantly, the Empire had gained thousands of new allies. The liberated slaves, many of them technically enhanced beyond human norms, pledged their loyalty to the force that had freed them. Director Blackwood coordinated the integration efforts. "Each species brings new knowledge, new perspectives," she reported to the Council. "The Drachnids collected the best minds from across the galaxy. Now those minds work for us." The victory at Mars was broadcast across Earth using the Drachnids' own communication networks. In occupied cities, slaves saw their masters fall. In hidden bunkers, humans celebrated their first major triumph. But in the Council chamber, the focus was already on the next phase. "The Drachnids will regroup," General Rivera warned. "They'll bring reinforcements from across their empire. We need to strike hard and fast while we have the advantage." The tactical display showed hundreds of potential targets: slave worlds, production facilities, command centers. Admiral Chen presented the next phase of Operation Thunderstrike. "We've proven our technology works. We've shown we can defeat them in direct combat. Now we take the fight to their core worlds." The liberated slaves provided crucial intelligence. The Drachnid Empire, they revealed, was far more fragile than it appeared. Centuries of relying on slave labor and neural control had left them vulnerable. They had no concept of resistance, no understanding of the power of free will. Commander Santos, reviewing reports from her Marines, discovered something else. "The slaves aren't just pledging loyalty out of gratitude," she reported. "They're inspired by what we've done. Humans didn't just resist, we surpassed our oppressors. We've given them hope." The Terran Empire was becoming more than just Earth's unified government. It was transforming into something unprecedented, a multi-species alliance built on liberation rather than conquest. Each freed world would become part of this new order, strengthening it with their knowledge and capabilities. "We're not just winning a war," Admiral Chen told his officers during the victory celebration. "We're reshaping the galaxy." The Drachnids thought they could enslave humanity. Instead, they created the force that will end their dominion forever. As the flags of the Terran Empire flew over Mars for the first time, preparations began for the next phase. The fleet would split into battle groups, targeting multiple Drachnid worlds simultaneously. The message would spread across the galaxy: humanity had not only survived, they had emerged stronger than ever. In the Council chamber, the leaders of the Terran Empire looked at the galactic map with new eyes. They were no longer just fighting for Earth's survival. They were fighting for every enslaved species, every conquered world. The empire that had been born in humanity's darkest hour was becoming a beacon of hope for the entire galaxy.